Kimu SDC with you here today, and I want to start it off with the PLH. Peace, love, and happiness with you all day, every day. Now, today we have something really important to talk about, and that is the 7 chakras. The 7 chakras are energy pools in the body that help us connect and bridge that point between the physical world and the spiritual world, or the ego and the self, which the ego is the lower self and our true self is the higher self. Now, these are correlated with the glands in the endocrine system and also represented by the colors of the rainbow, where the top color red is actually at the lower chakra and the lower color of the rainbow, purple, is at the top because it has the highest frequency. Now, with those, they basically are aligned in a continuum. So just think of it as a circuit in which one way up and then the energy still flows back down. It's not just a stream of energy and it's a one-way channel. And when these are blocked, they contribute to diseases. They make life a lot more hectic. And of course, the ego feeds on that negative energy. But the way that we get rid of that negative energy and sublime the ego is by activating the chakras and balancing them. So now we're going to start with the first chakra, which is the root chakra at the base of the spine, and that deals with our sense of security, our confidence, our passion, and it is blocked by fear and anxiety and insecurities. And these are things that help the ego surpass our true self. It brings that ego into the light because it keeps us it holds us actually in this physical world. Now, when we then realize that the only thing that is going to keep us grounded is ourself, and we don't have to worry about those fears, those insecurities, then we're all good. And then once we're there and get that going, then we can move on to the next chakra, open that up, clean it up a little bit, and that is the sacral chakra. And that is correlated to the reproductive organs. For women, it's the ovaries. For men, it's the testes, and represented by the color orange. And this deals with our creative nature, our sensuality, our sexuality, the way that we attract things, and it is blocked by blame. When we begin to blame ourselves for things that may have happened or things that we probably didn't even have control over, but because of the fact that we were associated with the event, we link that to ourselves. And we have to understand that we can't blame ourselves for things that happen. The things that happen are supposed to happen. The universe has its way of making what's supposed to happen happen. So if it happened then, it's going to happen later. So just try and practice on stop blaming yourself. And what's helped me was, besides getting rid of the blame aspect, was trying to open myself up into a much more creative nature. I began to realize that art is just an expression of self. So every moment of our life, as long as we're active, we're expressing ourselves. And in doing so, I began to get back into poetry. I started getting back into calligraphy. I started writing music, and I just started tapping into my creative nature. And that's really helped me. And since I was able to open that and balance it, I was able to rise and heighten my frequency to the next chakra, the third chakra, and that is the solar plexus chakra, also called the navel chakra. Now, the navel chakra is correlated to the pancreas, and it is represented by the color yellow. Now, the trouble with this is it deals with the idea of control and willpower. In the sense of control, we think in a way, society has us thinking in a way where we have to have control of this external world, this matrix that we live in. We have to have control of other people. We have to have control over certain aspects in other people's life. And I realized that once I began to realize that the only thing that I literally have control over, not figuratively, literally have control over, is myself. The way that my perception of my life, my attitude towards certain things that happen, and my response. My world is the only thing that I have control over. What I put into my body, that's it. I can't control what you put into your body. I can't control the way that whether you continue to watch my video or not. But in the sense of willpower, then it helped balancing this chakra continues to motivate us and give us that will to do more, get through things, and surpass even our own expectations. I realized that once I opened my solar plexus chakra, I was able to push myself and motivate myself to do even what I didn't even think I was going to get done. I would set a goal for myself, but in doing so, it felt so good to accomplish it. I went further. So go that extra mile whenever you have a goal. I also started just eating straight lemons. I also started eating garlic, and I also started just eating ginger, and that helps clean it up a little bit. Try getting that dirt out of that solar plexus chakra. And then once we get that all cleaned up and balanced out, let it flow real easy, then we go to the next chakra, which is the fourth chakra, and that is the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is the bridge between the ego and our true self, our lower self, and our spiritual self, our lower self and higher self. So this is the point where this is the crossover where we begin to sublime the ego. And this is correlated to, of course, the heart, but it is also represented by the color green. So eat your green vegetables. They make you feel good, number one. Number two, you begin to appreciate nature for what it is. I know that when I became a vegan, I began to appreciate nature for what it is. Also promoting that 7-day vegan challenge. I got to. Just trying to promote greatness. But it is blocked by the idea of loss. Of course, it is the center of our emotions, but it is blocked by loss. Now, loss specifically, I know that when we lose a family member or we lose a loved one, that is the hardest thing to get over, but we have to understand that that person, the physical aspect of that person has died, but the spirit continues to live on. And once I understood that, because I know I lost my great grandmother, and if I wasn't where I was, in a sense where I was meditating and I began my journey to enlightenment, I would have took it really hard because she was more than just my great grandmother. And we have to just try to get over the idea that loss is what's holding us back from opening this heart chakra and allowing us to actually love and tap into our emotions. Tap into your emotions on an everyday basis. Try to understand what you're feeling, how you're feeling. Exemplify what you're feeling and how you're feeling. That's the only way that we can open up this heart chakra and sit there and fly with the birds and the bees, loving the leaves, chilling with the trees. Go ahead and go out there and hug a tree really quick. And just appreciate nature for what it is. And once I was able to, also, just a sidebar, I was listening to a song by Erykah Badu on her album Return of the Ankh. And she has a song called Love. And it really resonated with me because it's true. And it's a quote, and I'm going to paraphrase one thing that she said, but the emotions that we feel are correlated to two frequencies, love and hate. When we choose love, we then begin to heighten our frequency. And not just love for a family member or a friend, but love for everything. I realized when I began to love everything, my emotions became more balanced. I had less mood swings. I was tuned into my emotions. So once you're tuned into your emotions and you get rid of that idea of loss, then we go on to the next frequency, of course, and that's the throat chakra, represented by the color blue, correlated to the thyroids. And this is where we begin to express our true self, who we really are. I know that when I began to understand what the truth is and who I am, a lot of things became easier. I began to feel authentic. I began to feel like I was my true self. A lot of times we have to put on masks and really keep those masks on so that people can see a certain light of us, and some of those characteristics of that mask isn't even who we are. I know when I felt like I couldn't be myself, my true self, my true nature, show my true colors, it felt like I was putting myself in a box and basically telling myself to go into timeout. So we got to stop those lies, stop lying to ourselves, allow our true nature to flourish and go out into the universe. Then we can send all this positive energy that I'm sending you right now. Then we can always have a party where we just being ourselves and doing what we do. But then once you begin to understand who you are, stop lying and get rid of those masks to express your true self, then we go to the next chakra. That chakra is the third eye, as we all know it, also called the brow chakra, represented by the color indigo. So whenever you hear indigo child or indigo referring to something or someone else, or even Indo, that is going to the third eye. So get into that point of following your instincts, following your intuition. You begin to see with a different vision. We then surpass these two eyes, and then we go into that third eye and see things for what they truly are. I know once I open my third eye, I began to see things that I didn't see before. I began to see messages, maybe like if I were to go to the movies, which I really can't even see movies like that anymore because I see them in a totally different light than I did before. But I see those messages that they're conveying that most people don't even see. And on a more practical level, I began to see into this matrix and began to read the matrix and understand what these messages that the universe was sending me. I had that clairvoyance. I was going with my instincts. What are my instincts telling me? Is this a situation that I should go into, or is this a situation I shouldn't go into? And I know once I began to follow my instincts, I began to see a lot of doors open up, a lot of opportunities, and take more risks because my instincts, my gut feeling told me, hey, this is what you should be doing, not this. So when we begin to see with that third eye, we're going to go ahead and have a party and go to the next chakra because we're all up in here. And we're going to the crown chakra, represented by the color purple, dealing with the pituitary gland. And this is the bridge point between our self and our divine nature and the divine unity, being in balance with the cosmos, being in balance with the universe. This is really, once we tap into this energy source, this is where we really begin to feel an abundance of energy. That's why I'm always like, woo! This body gets exhausted, but it always has that reserve of energy. This is the point of transcendence. This is the point where we surpass this physical world and full meditative state, highest frequency. We're vibrating on the highest frequency. We can't get no higher than that. This is the point where we are actually gods. What we're put on this earth to be representations of, and then we go and transcend, get out of this matrix, and live happily ever after. And that's where PLH comes in. Peace, love, and happiness. Because this is the state of true bliss. So at this point, we are really just going to have a party. We don't need to open our mouth at that point. We all telepathically sending messages, and then we just laugh it up. And then we all just having a party. And we doing whatever. Being our true self. Expressing who we really are. So make sure that you do your best to get those chakras open. Get them open so we can always have a party and go like, whoo! Because I'm trying to have a party and I need people in the party so I can enjoy myself even further. And then that way we can talk to each other telepathically. And then we'll be good. So, on that note, I'm going to send y'all off with the PLH. Peace, love, and happiness with you all day, every day. Woo! Kimu SDC over and out. Peace.